it's time now to go out to the other coast of the United States, out to the left coast, where Michael Snyder resides and goes to a lot of movies, probably getting hemorrhoids sitting in all those movie seats. But let's find out what's happening. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Alex, and hi, GABNet listeners. The tush has to be durable because I see a lot of these things from week to week, and I'm excited because it's October, and more to the point, the prestige movies are starting to roll out. It's getting closer to award season. Shall we see what we got on tap?
Absolutely. Shoot away.
All right, let's lead off with Amsterdam. Amsterdam is highly anticipated and filled with engaging star-powered performances, flitting around a provocative bunch of plot points. This is filmmaker David O. Russell's mix of period drama, war movie, spy thriller, comedy, and romance. And it's so overstuffed that it loses its way. But there are positive virtues here. This is the guy that made Three Kings and a bunch of other films. He's made a few stinkers. I wasn't crazy about I Heart Huckabees, but he draws the high-profile actors and actresses, and that happens here. Three people, played by Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, and John David Washington, meet in harrowing circumstances during World War I. As the men recover from their war wounds, she's kind of a nurse. They come together with this woman in post-war Amsterdam, and their rapport is very, much like Francois Truffaut's Jules and Jim, to get all repertory movie theater on you. Anyway, eventually they are parted, with the men returning to America and the woman seeming to disappear until a fiendish plot brings them back together in the U.S. of A. during the early 1930s. Bale, so fearsome and grandiose as Gore the Godslayer in Thor Love and Thunder, his most recent big on-screen splash, seems to be doing a take on Peter Falk as a somewhat disfigured veteran who has decided to devote his life to making prosthetics for fellow wounded vets. It's kind of a great take on Peter Falk, honestly, but that's as far as I'll go about that aspect of it. The three leads have great charm and chemistry, and the rest of the cast reads like a list of contemporary acting royalty. I'm going to do a listicle here, but bear with me because it's kind of amazing. The movie features, in addition to the other three, Anya Taylor-Joy, Zoe Saldana, Michael Shannon, Chris Rock, Timothy Olyphant, Andrea Riseborough, Matthias Schoenaerts, Alessandro Nivola, Rami Malek, and Robert De Niro. And you even get Mike Myers and Taylor Swift. Yes, that Taylor Swift. It's like those magnificent men in their flying machines or something. Hey, pull in all the names. Let's see what we can get in here. Russell wants to deal with big isms here. Capitalism, fascism, racism, etc., while being, devoted and committed to comedic elements that are generally not that amusing. When the mystery of the fiendish plot is finally uncovered and addressed, the movie's convolutions have sapped its impact. Aspects of the climax are inspired by actual historical events, and Russell's flair and the charisma of the cast try to give it gravitas. But emotional impact, you want thrills, inspiration, or relief over the way things play out, and that stuff's not there. Anyway, Amsterdam just isn't as engaging as I would have liked. Still, I sat there and gobbled it up. It's in theaters. Disappointing. On the other hand, Tar is one of the best movies I've seen this year. It's a dramatic portrait of a talented, immensely successful woman, Lydia Tarr, a pioneering, world-renowned orchestra conductor and scholar at the height of her career. Played by Kate Blanchett in tour de force style, Lydia seems to have it all. She's in charge of a major orchestra in Berlin and is about to conduct a high-profile performance of Mahler's Fifth Symphony. She has an eagerly awaited book about to be published. She and her wife, lead violin in the Berlin Orchestra, by the way, are devoted to raising their elementary school-age daughter. But Lydia has had to surmount so many obstacles to get where she is, and she's arrogant to the point of rolling over anyone who doesn't agree with her perspective and philosophy or doesn't let her do what she wants. And that heedless attitude coupled with her appetites, could bring her down in tragic fashion, especially in our age of cancel culture. The movie methodically goes from slow burn to absolutely blistering, while Blanchett does award-worthy work throughout. Let's say this. Kate delivers Oscar bait, and it deserves the label. Tar was written and directed by Todd Field, whose two previous movies, 2001's In the Bedroom and 2006's Little Children, were also scorchers. Field doesn't make movies very often, but when he does, oh mama. And with Tar, he delivers big time once again. Tar is in select theaters, I think specifically New York City and L.A. now, and will open wider on October 28th.
Gee, do you think Kate Blanchett could let someone else win an Academy Award?
I have to say, this is like one of those Meryl Streep situations. I really think this woman is talented. I don't think she's close to Streep's actual totals yet, but man, you know she's getting nominated for this. I mean, it was jaw-dropping.
How many totals has Streep got? I don't think she has that many.
I think she has. Doesn't she have all the Oscars? No,
yeah,
maybe not. Well, anyway,
she always gets nominated.
She's a neighbor of yours, right? Isn't she? Doesn't she live near where you live?
I don't know.
I think one of the upper sides in New York.
Well, anyway, if I find out where she lives, I'll go over for a cup of sugar.
Yeah. And count her Oscars while you're there. Do it. Anyway, Scandinavian director and screenwriter Ruben Östlund has made two of my absolute favorite movies of recent years: The Square, which is about an art curator, and Force Majeure, which is about an avalanche. And he justly won the Palme d'Or, top prize at the Cannes Film Festival, for Triangle of Sadness. This is, it sounds like it's kind of a Bergman movie or something, but it's a darkly hilarious comedy of manners, mores, and class division. We meet a couple of the beautiful people, a handsome but struggling male model and his gorgeous girlfriend, who is a more successful model and a social media influencer that gets all kinds of goodies coming her way. And then we join them on a luxury cruise with an obsequious crew helmed by a lunatic captain played by Woody Harrelson. The other passengers on the mega yacht are, for the most part, the super rich, people used to being waited on by deferential servants. But in the middle of the trip, nature and the seamy side of humanity get ugly, and so does the situation. And I mean really ugly. The result is killer social satire that brought to mind the discreet charm of the bourgeoisie and the original Swept Away. Not to get all snooty on you, but anyway, Triangle of Success deserves to be thought of alongside those classics. As far as I'm concerned, it's funnier than either of them, and Östlund scores again. Triangle of Sadness is in theaters. It's October, and Halloween's approaching, and they're rolling out horror movies. So let's quickly talk about a couple of them before we start talking television. Hellraiser is here. I know it's been here before, but after the solid 1987 movie and its sequel based on Clive Barker's horror classic, a bunch of crappy follow-up movies watered down the Hellraiser brand. Now comes a new Hellraiser movie, these many years later, and it's the best of them since the first two. David Bruckner, who directed the very fine recent horror movie The Night House, is at the helm of this current Hellraiser, same name as the original, no numerals, which brings back the spiky puzzle box that yanks unsuspecting victims into a dimension of eternal torture. And in this case, there are scads of unlikable potential victims led by a heedless recovering drug addict who is convinced by her scuzzy boyfriend to acquire the puzzle box. The Cenobites, those grotesque hellspawn who await their prey in this hell dimension, are menacing, and their familiar androgynous leader, Pinhead, is given life and death by trans actress Jamie Clayton, who was really good in Sense8, the miniseries from the Wachowski siblings. Anyway, Clayton is quite good as Pinhead, and Hellraiser 2022 is a briefly diverting, well-rendered return to the franchise, even if it's no classic. It's available on Hulu. Okay, let's shift into streaming video stuff because I want to wrap up with Werewolf by Night. And if you love vintage Universal monster movies, even ones like Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, and you're a Marvel Comics fan who enjoys or is curious about their horror-style characters like Blade and Ghost Rider, The 1 hour Werewolf by Night special streaming on Disney Plus is a lot of fun, and it brings some creature features into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, particularly Jack Russell, and no, not the cute little dog, but a good man cursed by lycanthropy, I guess the disease that enables you to turn into a wolf or forces you to turn into a wolf when the full moon rises. Russell, played by international star Gael Garcia Bernal of Y Tu Mama Tambien and Mozart in the Jungle, shows up at a competition between various monster hunters to win control of a powerful totem, the Bloodstone, by capturing a strange and deadly beast on the loose in the enclosed compound. Creepy monster movie shenanigans ensue. It sometimes feels like a tongue-in-cheek joke, but with Gael Garcia Bernal having a ball as Russell and the appearance of a fan-favorite Marvel character as well, this is enjoyable stuff, surprisingly well-directed by Marvel's go-to movie composer, Michael Giacchino, and it brings the werewolf and his supernatural friends into the MCU. Werewolf by Night, very seasonal and appropriate for the Halloween time on Disney Plus.
Okay, good. Well,
dude, I do want to mention one more thing. I'm sorry, we'll make it quick. Spirit Halloween the movie came out last week, and it's going to be available to stream shortly. This is the most feeble narrative excuse for product placement since, I don't know, ever. It's a low-budget, small-town setting. And the movie is about small-town tweens who get trapped in a haunted Spirit Halloween chain store. It is in no way well made. It's got that quickie, substandard, low-budget Nickelodeon Halloween special for kids vibe. And it's not so much spooky as spoopy, and it does have Christopher Lloyd slumming in the first scene as a mean old landowner who kind of angers a woman with magical powers because he's going to close down her orphanage. And, you know, needless spoiler alert, you get his disembodied voice showing up off and on throughout the rest of this misbegotten affair.
If this sucks, why are we even talking about it?
Because I want to warn people about Spirit Halloween, the movie. I'm done. What are you watching on TV, buddy?
Well, you know, I continue to absolutely adore She-Hulk. I think it's just funny and good and well done and well thought out, and I love the show.
Ben, the 8th episode of 9, which ran yesterday for the first time, was such a triumph on so many levels.
Yes.
I don't want to spoil anything, but they handled something people have been anticipating so well that I was like, I had a grin on my face as I watched it.
Yeah, and also I'm getting to like Andor better, or Andor, excuse me, Andor.
I'm glad.
Yeah, it's starting to come around. It was slow to get off the ground, but it's off the ground now. So
again, it's by the guy that wrote most of the Bourne Identity movies, the Jason Bourne series and whatever. And I really dug it. By the way, I've been very surprised.
Let me finish. You were asking me what I'm watching. Okay.
Okay.
But the best video series out there this year, without a doubt, is a very simple show called Patient with Steve Carell. And Domhnall
Gleeson.
Yeah, and it is
the Irish actor, right?
It is just superb. It is superbly written, thought out, acted. I mean, Carell is a gem in this thing. If it doesn't win every Emmy that's out there, I'll be surprised.
What's the platform?
What's the platform? The platform is Hulu.
Hulu is like killing it. They did the Predator movie Prey, which was absolutely a terrific film.
Yeah.
And now they did Hellraiser, which is not anywhere near in the ballpark of Prey, but a lot of good shows. And that's also where you watch Only Murders in the Building. Shocking, right, that they're doing so well.
Well, they do good stuff. And then they've also got the whole FX library as well, which FX... Well, this I think this show actually is not a Hulu show; it's an FX show. Patient. So
and The Bear, which I absolutely adore, is from FX and available on Hulu. As is Archer. I think if they're running all the FX stuff, and you've been following Archer, it is the very, very funny, very, very snarky animated series about the world's greatest secret agent.
Well, I got bored with Archer after the 3rd episode.
I'm still talk about gobbling. I love the show, and I continue to love the show. It's Series 13, and Sterling Archer is back on the beam with, again, voiced by H. John Benjamin, and Aisha Tyler, Judy Greer, Chris Parnell. I totally enjoy it. Great stuff, and I want to remind people that they can connect with me online at Culture Blaster, and also at Facebook's Michael Snyder Culture Blast page, and in the Marina Times in print, marinatimes.com, and most importantly, on GABNet.
Thank you very much, Michael. Okay, and if everybody sticks around, you're listening to us 24/7, there's more GABNet coming right up.